Okay, guys, so today we're back for another episode of the Broken Kid podcast. I don't like to have these serious podcasts, but you know me, I like to get meta and I like to get down to it. But, a lot of people don't know this, unfortunately, but how do I say this? So the movie Scream that everybody knows about, the guy in the costume with the white mask and the fucking knife, and he goes around creeping around everybody's rooms at night, stabbing people. Yeah, well, like that whole story, if you watch the movie, you know that in the story there is in the movie there is actually a fictitious movie that is based on the real murders. But what people don't know is that the real Sidney Prescott is me. Now you might be wondering, well, you're a fucking dude, and you're right, because my name is. They decided to switch the name from Sid to Sidney because they thought that if they had a heroine, not like drugs, but like the female superhero thing, that more people would actually feel bad in terms of like damsel in distress, and you might toy around with womanhood and boobs and flashing, and they kind of do a little in that movie, but it's not funny because that is my story. You know what I mean? Like, I wish people would respect it. And then they made a second one and a third one. And then in the third one, they actually make fun of it about me not wanting them to make a movie. So they make it very known that they are making a movie within a movie. And I'm the real person. And now this is how it plays. It happened to me. My mom died. So what happens? People decide to make a movie. And the people making a movie about the characters in that movie use other characters to show they're making movies about the other, so it's all confusing. But it all started when I was born. Not to date me, but this happened around in the 80s and about the late 80s. And I remember I was a teen in high school and I was about to get my first girlfriend and everything was going well. We were all having fun. It was the late 80s. It was almost about to be the 90s. There was talk about something called the internet, which we had no idea what it was about. And, we had about 11 years till Y2K and the end of the world. So we were all excited and, all that stuff was happening. And, so I'm in high school. I have my friends. Just talking about this gets me very emotional because I think about all the people that I lost and how many movies were made thinking that it was funny, but it really wasn't. In the movies, they were on stab, like fucking 35 or some shit. No different than the iPhone. But, yeah, I didn't know this, but it was 1989. It was 1989. And I was about 17. I was about 16 years old, and I remember coming home, and I saw one of my mom's friends, who in the movie is portrayed as Cotton Weary by Liev Schreiber, I believe, or Liev Schreiber or something. The dude who plays the guy who plays the brother of Wolverine in the movies, in the live action ones, him. So I thought it was him. So I didn't think anything much of it, but he didn't say hi to me. I never got to see his face, but I know that he was wearing his jacket. So that's why I thought it was him. But I go in and I make myself some food. I roll myself a joint. I smoke some weed. I text some bitches. I play some video games. Play some Overwatch. Make some coffee. Text some friends. And then, I decide, oh shit, I should probably go check on my mom. Two of the other people I live with, my mom and my dad. So I go check. And what do I see? She's dead. Like she was stabbed like 40 times. Whoever she upset did not like her, and I was just confused by this. And obviously I don't remember all of it because I dissociated, but it might have been, I don't know if it was till this day I don't know if it's the weed or the drugs. I mean, or the weed, the drugs, or the fucking terrible news I received, because I didn't know what was going on. And anyhow, so it's scary. I call the cops. They call me to testify. And, that same night, I'm pretty tired. I'm stoned. I said it was Cotton Weary. And, in the movie, I'm not going to disclose the real identity. you can look that up for yourself. But they take him to jail. So then, I try to move on. I end up doing all this stuff, like going to strip clubs, blowing all my money, because my mom just died. And then about a year later, I end up meeting about 9 months later, I meet a beautiful girl. She's blonde, tight body, swimmers, almost like a swimmer's body between a swimmer's and a gymnast, but with a bit more weight to it. It had a little bit more fat tissue, which was nice. And anyhow, I'm there. Things are crazy between us. We were making love every day for like 2 months. And, things kind of I start to get PTSD again because it's about to be the 1-year anniversary of my mother's death. And, all this stuff goes wrong. And it all goes wrong when they kill a few of my friends, So who do they suspect? They suspect they suspect my friends. And then if I find out that my girlfriend is actually a whore, because she was dating all of my other friends, and that's why they think that she had something to do with her death. And more people end up dying. But then it's weird because it's proven that my girlfriend is not guilty, and it was either a rumor that someone made up that she knew them all of my friends, and they start to suspect his friend now, that he was the one, that her friend was the one who did it all. So they think that it was her best friend who killed these people. But we don't know why. So then we have a party and people start dying. And, this was before this is my story. So I don't know who the hell it is, why I'm being targeted, until we're at the party and, people die. And in the movie, it's portrayed pretty much exactly the same. That my girlfriend thought I was a virgin, but really she didn't know I had herpes. So we end up making love, and she ends up finding out I had herpes because somebody, there was a rumor at the party spreading. And, that's when I say, it's so funny that people thought you were the killer, People thought you were the killer. Now they think it's Jill, your best friend, your other girlfriend, your girl best friend. And that's when Ghostface comes out and kills my then girlfriend. So what do? I throw a vase at her head, which I thought was a vase. Really? You know what it was? It was a bong. It was my first bong. And what does it do? It shatters her right in the head. Oh, I didn't know it was her, but I end up running out. They end up catching me, the killer, on the first floor, and they, then I get scared, and one of my other friends is locked outside, so I let them in, and that's when my girlfriend, who I thought was dead, comes out, and she's like, what the fuck is going on? And I say, you're alive. And that's when she pulls out a gun, and she says, step out of the way. And she opens the door to let my friend in, and it turns out that when I open it, she was opening the door so that she could let him in, so she could keep him at gunpoint. And it's crazy. That's when my friend gets shot by my girlfriend. That's when she then reveals that she's working with the Ghostface who tried to kill me a few minutes earlier. They take off their masks, and who is it? It's Jill, right? So now it's two girls against all of us, and they've got a gun. One of them has a knife. We're all scared. So what do? I listen. But what they didn't know is that they were standing on a carpet. So while they both turn away and they're distracted because they hear something fall, I pull the rug underneath them and they fall. And that's when essentially my who I thought was my girlfriend, and her friend ends up coming after me with shattered glass from a mirror. And that's when she's next to me right here, right beneath the right on the shoulder, and it was scary. And she stabbed me. So what I had to do is I had to take out the shard of glass and stab her in the fucking throat. And that's when I kick her, and I throw the this was back then, so the TV that I ended up throwing on her was like a 90-pound, those 90-pound CRTVs. So you can imagine what it did to the face. And some people think that the real person, Jill, did survive. They didn't survive. But that leaves my friend who was shot. They leave me, who was stabbed in the shoulder, and then, my girlfriend, who's still alive. And that's when they come from beneath us. That's when they come from behind us with the gun. And this is where the movie gets it a little wrong, where, it doesn't really show my weed usage, but I used to smoke a lot of weed. But I still remember this. But anyhow, I'm getting confronted by my girlfriend, my evil girlfriend, who's a crazy bitch, and she's giving all this speech, and that's when she tells me that her dad left her family because her mom was having an affair with my dad. So it was crazy. So he decided to kill she decided to kill my mom. And she practically wanted to get revenge, my crazy girlfriend. And that's when my friend who was shot ends up coming from out of nowhere, and he ends up electrocuting her, because we had these open wires, and he electrocuted the shit out of her through her titties, and it was crazy. But that goes to show that life does imitate art, so you better be careful with what you watch, because for all we know, Halloween could be real, Freddy Krueger could be real. This is a crazy story, but you better believe it because it was real. And that's it for this week's episode of the Broken Kid Podcast.